Hi RESkids, welcome to RESkids Online. We are here to love God together, love others, and lead our friends to do the same. I'm Annabelle, and I'm so glad to be back with you today. We are on our second week of our series on justice. This week, we'll see how God was raising up enemies, the mighty Babylonians, but God told Habakkuk to be patient and wait. It may seem like evil people are winning, but they won't win in the end. Before we go into the story, let's all stand up and worship God with our voices.
In my wrestling and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Trust the promise, you will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are my light, my lighthouse, shining in the darkness. I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, trust the promise, you will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. Fire before us, you're the brightest, you will lead us through the storms. Fire before us, you're the brightest, you will lead us through the storms. Fire before us, you're the brightest, you will lead us through the storms. Fire before us, you're the brightest, you will lead us through the storms. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. My lighthouse, I will trust the promise, you will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore.
Whoa! I'm so exhausted. Thanks so much for worshiping with us this morning. And now I cannot wait to hear what God is going to teach us next.
Now, join us as Miss Danielle is back with the Bible story time with her and Auntie Annie. Right after that, we have the God Stuff channel.
Hi, RESkids! I missed all of you so much last week, and I'm so glad to be back today. This week in the RESkids studio, Auntie Annie has returned to teach with us. Can we make our hands like this and say aloha, Auntie Annie?
Aloha back to you, my keiki. That means children in Hawaiian. Well, Auntie loves coming to RESkids to teach all my keiki here. And today's story is a very important reminder for all of us. We are all going to learn about God's justice.
That might be a new word for some of you, so let's explain what justice means. In this story, the word justice is when God makes wrong things right.
It is so important that we realize it's when God makes something right, not us. There are many things that are wrong in the world that need to change to be made right. But justice, Kiki, only God can bring justice and correct all the wrong things.
Auntie's right again. Let's get into our Bible story, and we're going to go to the nation called Judah and see how a man called Habakkuk waited for God's justice at a time when his nation was making a lot of bad, horrible, awful choices.
Remember the steps I taught you?
Yes, Auntie.
Ooh, they get lots fighting here. Ooh. Oh, look at Habakkuk's face. Poor thing, he looks so sad. He is so tired of all the awful things people were doing to each other in his nation. They were all being so horrible to each other.
When we say horrible, we mean it's so bad that I can't even imagine. Level of super extra mean behavior.
Kiki, this is not like fighting with your brother and sisters at home.
Or talking back to your parents when you're in trouble.
Or still taking the last cookie out of Miss Danielle's lunchbox, even though I told her I would stop.
Are you seriously still taking cookies out of my lunchbox, Auntie?
Shh, Auntie's teaching. Anyway, the way people of Judah were treating each other was worse than any type of behavior you could imagine. Oh, it's your line. Okay, well, you know like talk. She's one real Habakkuk, yeah? Fine then, I'll keep talking. Habakkuk was so tired of all this sinfulness.
It all felt like too much, and Habakkuk kept praying to God, begging him to make it stop. He felt like the bad people kept winning and that God wasn't hearing his prayers.
But we know the truth, don't we, Kiki? God always hears our prayers.
He does. God is always listening, and he is always working. Even when we can't see or know what he is doing, God is always at work. He told all of this to Habakkuk and promised he would bring justice to his people. But it wasn't going to be the way Habakkuk wanted. Okay, this is all going to sound crazy, but we have to remember that God's plan is always the best.
The best, Kiki.
They heard me, Auntie. So God did hear Habakkuk's prayers, and he also wanted all the awful ways people were treating each other to stop. God's plan was to send a big, even meaner army to come and take over Judah. This is not what Habakkuk had in mind.
Has there ever been a time when something was happening, and all you wanted was for God to make it stop, but his plan to make it right wasn't what you expected?
Yes. Remember that time when you were taking me and my cousin DJ to the beach and we kept fighting because he's so annoying and I kept tattletelling to you, telling him to stop?
But instead, I turned the car around and drove all you Kikis home. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I thought you would just give us a timeout at the beach or something, but instead we went home. And we still kept fighting.
And that's sort of what Habakkuk was wondering. He wanted all the people of Judah to stop treating each other so badly. He did not want a big, mean army to come in and destroy it. Danielle, how would you react if you were Habakkuk?
I would freak out. And if I'm being really honest, Auntie, I have to admit, I do doubt God. And I would worry that he was making a mistake. That would be a sin from me. Not trusting God's plan and thinking I can make a better one than him.
I'm proud of you for telling that hard truth. I admit I would doubt God's plan too. I bet most of us would stop trusting for a bit if the plan sounded more worse than the problem. But that's originally how Habakkuk reacted. But then he did something amazing.
So amazing. Habakkuk started to pray and thank God for loving his people so much. He started to think of all the things that God has done to rescue his people. like the time when he led thousands of Israelites to travel super far in escaping an evil king.
Or when he sent one giant wave to flood the whole world, but saved one big boat full of family and animals to start over. Oh,
your hair is fine, Auntie. Habakkuk remembered all the things that God has done to bring justice to his people.
Yeah, and when we remember that, it brings us hope.
So Habakkuk did the one thing that he knew would bring him hope. He remembered that God had rescued his people before, and so he prayed.
But Keiki, what do we remember? Where does our hope come from? Tell Auntie. Did you all say Jesus?
Good job, you guys. That's exactly right. The greatest true story of God's rescue for all of us is when he sent Jesus to save us. We get to have it all. The stories of the Bible and Jesus himself.
Whew, that's some real good news.
An easy way to remember what God has done and how he gives us hope is to remember the verse of the week. If you've got a Bible at home, this would be a great time to go get it and come right back. Here's the 10-second timer, and go!
Thanks for listening to our Bible story this week. Let's get ready to do our verse of the week.
The verse of the week is Habakkuk 3:2. The book of Habakkuk is in the Old Testament, kind of in the middle of your Bible, yeah? Did you find it, Danielle?
It's more towards the end of the Bible, Auntie.
Okay.
I've got it. Do you guys have it at home?
Try away, Auntie's still looking. I know I have my glasses. Let's see. Okay.
You ready, Auntie?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to read it out loud for us. Can you follow along at home? In the midst of the years, make it known. In wrath, remember mercy. Habakkuk 3:2. In this verse, Habakkuk is praying to God. He's saying, God, this is going to be a long road, so please show us that you're with us. Let's get ready to do our verse with the hand motions. Are you ready, Auntie?
Choo-hoo.
Okay. Make your hands like this. In the midst of the years, make it known. In wrath, remember mercy. Did you get that, RESkids? Thank you so much for being with us for our Bible story today. Can we say thank you to Auntie Annie for coming with us?
Oh, mahalo, Keiki. That means thank you.
We can't wait to see what you guys are going to learn with Mr. Weber. We'll see you next time. Bye!
Choo!
What's up, Tiny Legends? Welcome again to the God Stuff channel, where every single week we try to answer a tough question about God. This week we're asking the question, how can we have hope when things are hard? And of course, don't forget, if you like watching the God Stuff channel, share it with your friends, because we want everyone to know about God stuff, all right? With me this week is a great friend of mine back from college for the summer, Madison Alexander.
Hey, Weber. What's up, Tiny Legends? Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. So, Madison is in college, and like I said, which means that she's super smart and stuff like that. I bet you probably do really good on all your spelling tests in college, right?
Weber, there's no spelling test in college.
What? There's no spelling test in college? That sounds so easy.
Well, it's harder for other...
I should have gone to college.
Never mind.
Okay, well, I invited Maddie to come on this week because I think the Bible story is so cool, and I think we're going to have to point our biggest brains at it to figure out what it's trying to teach us. I mean, this guy, Habakkuk, he's in a pretty tough spot.
Yeah, he's frustrated because he's watching his own people, God's people, hurt themselves and each other. He's asking God, what are we going to do about this?
Well, and God says that he's going to fix it by sending in this big, bad Babylonian army to make things right?
Babylonians? That doesn't make sense. They're horrible. They're like big bullies. How are they supposed to make anything right?
Well, I mean, let's try to figure out what this means for us. Now, every week we start out with a little unboxing thing. So we put our hands up and we say, we got a box. So we got a box. Okay, here it is. There it is. Go ahead. Open that puppy up.
All right.
Let's see what we got this week. It's a box. Box.
It's a boxing glove?
Yeah.
How weird.
Well, doesn't it seem like life is just like a fight sometimes? I mean, like things can be tough a lot of times, and things just don't go right all the time. And it's like there's a lot against you, you know?
Yeah, I get that. I remember when a girl got everyone to dislike me because she was jealous of me because the boy she liked me.
Oh, dang.
She said some mean things about me, and at recess, she had everyone play with her instead of me. It's kind of like things are just broken.
Wow. That's kind of lame.
Yeah.
Darn.
Oh, so what's with this glove?
Okay, well, this is the champion's glove.
The champion of what?
Yeah, like a boxing champion, like a fighter. His name is Habakkuk.
Habakkuk?
Yeah.
What kind of name is that?
Well, it's kind of like Habakkuk, but it's Habakkuk. He's a boxer, hook, you know, like a... Well, anyway, why don't we just... Well, he just lost a big fight, and the post-fight interview I just thought was really interesting. So why don't we see it and we can see what happened?
Oh boy, I've heard about your videos. Let's see it.
Hit it.
Hello, and welcome to the RESkids Boxing Network. I'm Randy. What an amazing match we've had today. Our champion, Habakkuk, lost a tough match against the terrifying challenger, Sinbad. And what an incredible match it was. It started out pretty much evenly matched, but it took a turn against Habakkuk when Sinbad started landing some big shots, and the champ made a couple crucial errors, costing him the win for the day. I'm told that we actually have the former champion on the line right now. Can you hear me, Mr. Habakkuk? Yeah, hey Randy, I hear you. Woo! What a fight, right? What a fight! Boom, boom, boom. Yeah! Can you tell me, what are your thoughts right now? How are you feeling? Well, I came out strong. I threw a little pop, 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 pop. I made a couple mistakes. I gave him a little bit of an edge, and man, he punished me for it. He brought it heavy to the body, over the top, hit me in the left eye, in the right eye. Rough fight for sure. Rough fight. Woo! Well, that definitely sounds like a tough loss, sir. Yeah, you know what? It's cool, man. I fought hard. I threw a little 1, 2, 1, 2, pop, 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 pop. And he got me. Man, he got me. It's all right. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Crazy, right? Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Well, this boxer, Habakkuk, kind of reminds me of...
You?
No, reminds me of Habakkuk from the story this week. Habakkuk and Habakkuk are feeling hopeless right now. See, the people of Judah are messing up big time, and those Babylonians are supposed to come and fix it by destroying everything. And Habakkuk, who's always been the championship fighter, he just lost the biggest fight of his life. And he's thinking, like, how can we come back from that?
Yeah, they both had to believe that God would be with them in the hard times. The boxer was getting beat up, and the people of Judah were being conquered.
Right. See, Tiny Legends, the entire nation of Judah was about to be conquered by the mighty Babylonians. They were the toughest dudes around, and God said that he was going to actually allow them to win for a while.
Wait, pause here. Do you see how crazy that is? God said he would actually let the Babylonians take over Judah, like over God's chosen people. And it was all because they had sinned.
Yep, there it is again, Tiny Legends, the sin thing. See, sin is when people, like you and me, we do what we want to do instead of obeying what God says to do. And when we disobey him, that's sin. And God says that he will always punish sin.
And that's what Habakkuk was talking about here.
Yeah, and I think about this too. Like as scary as those invading armies were for them, and as tough as life can be for us now, it's actually nothing compared to the even bigger problem that's the same for every single person.
Yeah, the Babylonians came to punish the people of Judah for the evil that they were doing. And you might think that this was just a one-time thing. Fix the people of Judah and they could move on. But actually, sin doesn't go away just by itself. Sin is a problem for you and for me and for the whole world and forever. Not good.
Not good at all. And that's way worse than like one big bad boxing match, or way worse than the whole Babylonian army. It's way worse than even all the other stuff that makes life kind of stink sometimes.
I think you make your own life stink, sir. Well, thankfully the story doesn't end there, right?
Wait, back up. I'm stinky? What are you talking about?
Well, let's just say thank God for the 6 feet thing.
Well, okay. Well, let's watch the second half of this interview to see what Habakkuk handles, and I might go take a shower.
I'm good with both.
Now, Habakkuk, if you wouldn't mind answering a question for us, we're noticing that your attitude seems awfully positive. Oh, yeah, Randy, that's a good question, man. I'll tell you what I did. I was in there, I was boxing it up, and you know what? I realized, I thought back and I remembered how good God's been to me. You know, I remember when I won this title. Remember that? That was awesome. Oh, yeah, we did it. The champ is here. The champ is here. Never been beat. Woo-hoo. Never be beat. Yeah. Woo! Man, that was awesome. So cool. So cool. It was so cool being champ. But you know what? Hey, I lost this fight. I don't know if I'll ever fight again, but I remember how good that was. I remember how much God gave me. Heaven is amazing. It's forever. And Jesus, whew, he's the real champ. Pop, 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 pop. Wow, what an incredible response from our former champion today. Sir, we wish you the best. Thank you for taking the time to come by and chat with us on the RESkids Boxing Network. Hey, man, don't touch those eyeballs.
See, that's the attitude. But I can't get over that hairdo.
Yeah, it was tough for me to get over it too. The boxer, okay, he was able to remember the past victories that God had given him. And it's the same thing for Habakkuk. When he remembers that God saved his people in the past, he could have that hope that God would save them again in the future.
And this is what it means for us. This is my favorite part.
Get him, Maddie.
Tiny Legends, God told Habakkuk that he would step in and save the people of Judah one day, making them a nation once again. And now we know that God did exactly that.
Yep.
And he makes an even bigger promise to each of us as we deal with the huge problem of sin and its punishment.
He kept his promise to us by sending Jesus. Jesus is the one who came to set all these things straight again. Anyone who follows him, who calls him God, and trusts him, has their sins forgiven, even when things seem unfair.
We can remember what he's done and that Jesus came to fix what's broken.
Like when that girl was turning everyone against you.
Yeah. Now I'm remembering that God saw that. Even though I wasn't able to fix it myself, a teacher stepped in and made sure it never happened again. Just like sin, we can't fix it ourselves. The good news, though, is that Jesus came and fixed it once and for all.
Yes. Tiny Legends, do you believe this today? I pray so much that you do. This is why so many of us call this good news. So, thank you so much for tuning in today, Tiny Legends, and thank you for coming, Madison.
Thanks for having me. See you later, Tiny Legends.
Hey, and don't forget to share the channel with all of your friends. We will see you next week, and don't touch your eyeballs. No, don't do it.
Thanks for joining us today. We can't, do you guys hear that? We're having some technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
I must interrupt this fine program to tell you something of incredible importance. I cannot tell you exactly who I am just now, as I am deep into an investigation this very day to discover who we truly are. It's called Mission Possible. It's a tough case to crack, but with the right team, I know that we can get to the bottom of this great mystery. Tell your parents you want in on the case, starting July 27th, and join me in this great virtual adventure, Mission Possible. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Wow, did I just get hacked? I don't know about you, but I would so love to do that. Anyhow, make sure your parents check their emails for information on how to register, or go to www.resonatemovement.org/ResKidsOnline. Bye! See you next week!